Billions of dollars are lost from Medicare every year due to fraud, waste, and abuse. And the government expects you, as a doctor or Medicare provider, to serve a gatekeeper role to protect those funds. As a result, you should be careful to avoid being used or manipulated in ways that hurt Medicare and that could lead to you facing potential criminal, civil, or administrative penalties, including even prison. I have prosecuted healthcare fraud cases for the federal government, and I've also defended people who were accused of fraud. Because of my experience on both sides of these cases, I want to share a few key thoughts with you to help keep you out of trouble. 3 points on the medical side. Be careful about taking jobs that involve a type of medicine that you do not regularly practice in. Home health, hospice, durable medical equipment, genetic tests. Medicare has specific requirements for all of these services and items, and you should not order any of them unless you know those requirements. For example, you should not order home health services unless you know Medicare's definition of confined to the home. Be careful about taking jobs that involve chart review without direct patient contact. Medicare expects that you have a physician-patient relationship with every patient you order services or items for. If you have not seen a patient yourself, if you have not talked with that patient yourself, if you don't plan to follow up with that patient, you probably shouldn't be ordering any services or items for that patient. Third, be careful if someone tells you that Medicare wants you to do something. Medicare generally does not pay for preventative services, and Medicare generally does not tell doctors how to practice. So, if someone tells you that Medicare wants you to order services or items that cost Medicare a lot of money, be careful. That can be a red flag for fraud. 3 points on the financial side. Be careful about taking jobs that pay you on a per chart or per patient basis. This is a common red flag for fraud, and the government may view this as a violation of the anti-kickback statute. You generally should be paid only for the specific services that you do and that are covered by billing codes and Medicare rules. Be careful when you assign your billing rights to an employer. This is a perfectly legitimate practice, but there are risks involved. If you do this, you should regularly get information about what has been billed in your name to make sure that your employer is not billing for services that you did not actually do. And you should pay attention to services that are resulting in large amounts of payments. Be careful if your employer waives copayments. Medicare requires providers to make reasonable efforts to collect copayments, and the routine waiver of copayments can be a violation of the anti-kickback statute or patient inducement statutes, and the routine waiver of copayments can be a red flag of fraud in and of itself, because fraudsters often can make more money by getting patients to not look closely at their explanation of benefits forms, more money than they would make by collecting the copayments listed on those forms. 2 more things that you should be aware of in terms of how the federal government investigates fraud, waste, and abuse. First, billing data says a lot about your practice, and you should think about how your data looks to the federal government. Every time you sign an order, every time you order home health, hospice, durable medical equipment, tests, medications, services, or items for a Medicare patient, someone is going to bill Medicare based on those orders and is going to identify you as the person who ordered those services and items. If you're not careful, those orders can add up to huge amounts of money that you are going to be ultimately responsible for. Second, if law enforcement agents come talk to you, you should definitely take it seriously, but you don't have to talk with them right then and there. Even if you did nothing wrong, you may say something by mistake that can get misinterpreted or that can get you in a lot of trouble, and there can be disputes later on about what was said. You can invoke your right to counsel and ask to reschedule an interview for a later time when you can be better prepared and not caught off guard. I hope all of these thoughts are helpful, and I hope these help keep you out of trouble. Thanks for watching, and thanks for everything you do for your patients.